Ferrari is about to unleash some serious upgrades that not only promise to rev up their speed, but also give them a real shot at taking down Red Bull. This means Red Bull is in for some fierce competition. So far, Ferrari has been the closest contender to Red Bull in the opening races of the season. Despite their efforts, they couldn't quite halt Max Verstappen's pole positions and race wins. But that's all about to change. With Ferrari rolling out these upgrades, the game is about to get a whole lot more exciting. What exactly are these upgrades, and how will they shake up the competition? Let's find out. After two intense races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, all the Formula One teams are now working hard to understand their cars better. Among them, Ferrari has emerged as the closest competitor to Red Bull. They're about 0.4 of a second slower per lap, which is not much in racing terms. The new car, called the SF24, is different from the SF23. Ferrari made changes to its design, starting with the chassis, which is like the car's skeleton. They've also changed how they pack the cooling system and other parts that help the car go faster. These changes have helped Ferrari distribute the air better over the car, which makes it more stable and easier to drive. Even the way the suspension works has been improved, and Ferrari has made them work better with the new aerodynamic design. This makes the car handle better on the track. But despite these improvements, Ferrari still has some problems to solve. Ferrari had a tough time getting their tyres to work properly throughout the Saudi Arabian GP weekend because the track didn't wear out the tyres much and the car didn't have good grip at the back. This might have been because they had changed the back part of the car to make it faster in the fast corners, but still good in the slow corners. However, they hadn't found the perfect setup yet, and the car had been struggling with grip issues since the first race in Bahrain. To deal with these problems, Ferrari decided to keep the medium downforce rear wing in Jeddah. This helped the car stay balanced and have better grip, especially in the first part of the track, even though it made them a bit slower on the straight parts. Despite these challenges, the Ferrari car was still easy to drive, as shown by Behrmann's impressive performance in qualifying and the race. This is good news for Ferrari because it means they have a good starting point to fix their problems and get closer to Red Bull, the fastest team right now. Unlike in Bahrain, where Ferrari's car balance shone through, it required 2 full laps to reach the ideal thermal window in Jeddah. This pointed to a deficiency in overall downforce, prompting Maranello's engineers to take action. To tackle this problem, Ferrari's engineers quickly got to work on upgrades. These upgrades are set to roll out between the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka and the Emilia-Romagna GP at Imola, covering rounds 4 to 7 of the season. Suzuka, known for its demanding track conditions, will see the debut of a new floor with tweaked Venturi channels and edges, along with different wing designs. Under the leadership of aerodynamics expert Diego Tondi, Ferrari's team is working diligently on this upgrade package. The enhancements will culminate in significant changes to the side pods at Imola. Ferrari's home race at Imola will witness the introduction of new air inlets, inspired by Red Bull's design, but with Ferrari's unique touches. These inlets will be smaller and angled upwards, helping airflow beneath the car's side pods. Additionally, Ferrari will refine the rear of the car, drawing inspiration from Red Bull's RB20 design without going to the same extreme. These upgrades aim to increase downforce while maintaining the SF24's excellent aerodynamic balance, ensuring they integrate seamlessly into the existing car design. Ferrari's strategy involves introducing upgrades one step at a time, starting with the floor and then moving to the side pods. This method allows the team to carefully assess each upgrade's impact on the car's performance. By avoiding making too many changes at once, Ferrari hopes to fine-tune the SF24 setup for maximum performance based on insights from simulations. Ferrari acknowledges that it still has ground to cover before it can compete head-to-head with Red Bull, but the team remains optimistic about its prospects. Team principal Fred Vasseur believes that the gap to the front is not insurmountable, unlike last year when any improvements would have been futile. Reflecting on Ferrari's performance after the initial races, Vasseur acknowledges Red Bull's superiority, but sees reasons for positivity. He notes that while Red Bull has a slight advantage in both qualifying and the race, Ferrari is closing the gap. Vasseur stated, "In quali, they have perhaps 2-3 tenths on us. and in the race a bit more. But it's difficult to estimate because we don't know if they were pushing at the max. But the feeling is more positive that if you come back to this region, you know if you take a step, you can put some pressure on them. Vasseur is encouraged by the team's solid foundation, which allows them to focus on fine-tuning rather than addressing fundamental issues. He highlights the improved drivability of the car, which aids in understanding areas for improvement and facilitates development. He added, "Also, I think the fact that the car is, I don't want to say easy to drive, and in any case, it doesn't have anything to do with the performance, but I think the car today is easier to drive than 1 year ago. This is a good base for the development, because the car is much easier to read for the drivers, so it is much easier to understand where we have to improve. And in this situation, it's a step forward for us for the overall picture." Vasseur stresses the need to improve every part of the car. Ferrari wants to make it better in many ways, not just one. They're mainly focusing on making the car's aerodynamics better, but they're also being careful about how they do it. They believe that by constantly making things better, they can become more competitive again. Vasseur is sure that the team can make upgrades that will help them perform better and get back in the game. Also, Charles Leclerc sees Ferrari's progress compared to last season as a positive sign. He believes that if the team continues on its current trajectory, it can start exerting pressure on Red Bull. Leclerc expressed his optimism, stating, "It's been a positive race. I think we are making small steps in the right direction." Reflecting on the team's improvement over the past 6 to 7 months, he added, "We are the team that has improved the most, and we are slowly closing the gap." Leclerc emphasized the importance of patience, stating, "So that's where we are. We'll probably have to wait and see whenever we have new parts to the car, what kind of step we take forward, and hopefully that will bring us closer to Red Bull." So, should Red Bull be concerned? Red Bull's progress with the RB20 looks promising, but it's important not to exaggerate how much it's improved compared to the previous model. The new car has some changes, but it's more of an evolution, though a bold one. Both Mercedes and Ferrari are changing their strategies to be more like Red Bull's 2023 car concept. But switching to this new approach will take time for them to understand how their cars perform in different conditions. Red Bull, having come up with this concept first, already understands it well and is ahead of the game. The other teams will spend a lot of time and effort studying their new designs in the wind tunnel and simulators. Every day they do this, they'll learn more, potentially making bigger gains than they would have with their old concept. Over the course of 6 to 7 races, with new parts and updates, they should start to close the gap on Red Bull. For Red Bull, there may not be as much room for improvement. They'll keep working on their car throughout the season, but they might not see as big of gains as the other teams. That's because they're already close to getting the most out of their car. But it's important to see how each team progresses after the first few races with their new concepts. This will show how effective their development strategies are. Even though Red Bull looks strong at the start, Mercedes and Ferrari could still get more out of their cars this season. It's too early to say Red Bull will dominate completely, so the Milton Keynes-based team must remain vigilant and proactive. Stay tuned for more updates on how Ferrari will take on the incredible Red Bulls. You don't want to miss it.